Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate finance. And today we've got a special edition, a really quick correction to a previous report from DeFi Development Corp. It's like finding a typo in your boss's email, but with way more legal implications. So what's this all about? Well, DeFi Development Corp is basically telling us they made a boo-boo in an earlier report from July 21st. Think of this as an oops, we need to fix that filing. And what did they need to fix? It's all about their holdings of something called Solana, which is a cryptocurrency, and how they're using an equity line of credit. They released a press release, which is like a company's public announcement, and then they realized that press release had some errors. This filing, this 8K, is just to give us the corrected version of that press release. They're not changing anything else about the original report, just swapping out the old, slightly error-filled press release for a new, accurate one. It shows that even with fancy financial reporting, simple mistakes can happen and they need to be publicly corrected. They messed up on the numbers for how much Solana they bought, getting it wrong by 1,000 coins. And similarly, they got the organic growth number wrong by 1,000 coins. And similarly, they got the organic growth number wrong by 1,000 coins. And similarly, they got the organic growth number wrong by 1,000 coins. And similarly, they got the organic growth number wrong by 1,000 coins. It's a small hiccup, but in the world of SEC filings, accuracy is king. Now let's look at what this company has listed on the stock exchange. They have their common stock, which is basically their ownership pie, trading under the symbol DFDV. And where can you buy a slice of this pie? You can find it on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC. That tells us this isn't some small, unheard of company. It's trading on a major exchange. So these reports and corrections are pretty important for investors watching them. And here's an interesting detail. DeFi Development Corp is flagging itself as an emerging growth company. This means they're a newer company and they get to follow some slightly less strict rules for reporting compared to older, more established businesses. It's like getting a beginner's pass in a game. However, they've checked the box saying they are choosing not to use the extended time to adopt new accounting standards, which means they're not delaying the adoption of new financial rules. They're jumping right in. The main point of this amended report, this 8KK, is to provide the accurate press release as Exhibit 99.1. So the original report on July 21st talked about their equity line of credit and their Solana holdings. Then a day later, they realized the numbers in the press release were off by about 1,000 units of Solana and 1,000 units of Organa and 1,000 units of organic growth. This filing is purely to furnish that corrected press release. So in plain English, this section is about sharing information with everyone at the same time. They're providing this corrected press release because the information in it is important to investors. They want to make sure everyone gets the correct story, not the one with the slightly off numbers. They are also being careful to say that this information, even though it's being shared, isn't officially filed in a way that makes them liable for the exact wording under certain laws unless they specifically say it is in another filing. It's a bit of legal maneuvering, but essentially they're providing corrected information to the public. Now, this is a standard but important part of most company reports. When companies talk about the future, they often include what's called forward-looking statements. These are basically educated guesses or predictions about what might happen. But because the future is uncertain, these statements come with a warning that actual results could be very different. The company is reminding everyone to pay close attention to the cautionary notes in the corrected press release itself, because anything about future plans or expectations could change based on various risks and uncertainties. This section is where they list all the documents attached to this report. For this particular filing, the most important exhibit is Exhibit 99.1, which is the corrected press release. They also have Exhibit 104, which is about interactive data files, essentially tagged data for easier computer processing, often embedded in the filing. This confirms that the main event here is the inclusion of that corrected press release. It's the key piece of information being updated and reshared. And finally, we have the signatures. This is where the company's authorized representatives sign off, confirming that the information in the report is accurate to the best of their knowledge. Joseph Onorati, the chairman and chief executive officer, has signed this report, confirming the correction and the details. It's that final seal of approval, making sure everything is on the up and up. So what's the big takeaway here? DeFi Development Corp is being transparent about a minor error in their previous public announcement regarding their crypto and equity line of credit dealings. They've corrected the numbers and reissued the information. While this might seem like a small detail, it highlights the importance of accuracy in financial reporting and the mechanisms in place to correct mistakes when they happen. It's not a story about massive financial performance or dramatic shifts, but rather about the diligent process of maintaining accuracy in corporate communications. It's a reminder that even in fast-moving areas like cryptocurrency, the old rules of careful, accurate reporting still apply. Now, looking at DeFi Development Corp and this filing, it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, the company is actively involved in what could be a high growth area, with cryptocurrency like Solana and using financial tools like equity lines of credit. This shows a willingness to adapt and explore new financial avenues. However, the gaffe of the press release, even if minor, does raise a slight eyebrow about their internal review processes. You want a company to be cutting edge, but you also want them to be buttoned up. The fact that they are an emerging growth company does give them some leeway, but it's something to keep an eye on as they mature. They're essentially reporting on their engagement with digital assets and how they're managing their capital, which is a key part of their strategy. The correction itself suggests they are paying attention to how they present this information, which is a positive sign, though the initial error is a point of caution. Overall, DeFi Development Corp is navigating a complex and evolving financial landscape. Their willingness to engage with new technologies and financial instruments is a potential strength. However, the need for correction in this filing suggests a potential weakness in their disclosure processes that needs careful management. As an investor, you want to see consistent accuracy in their reports moving forward. The big opportunity lies in how well they can capitalize on the digital asset space and manage their equity line of credit effectively. The biggest risk, continued missteps in reporting or volatility in the crypto markets that could impact their strategy. In conclusion, DeFi Development Corp is a company with forward-looking strategies in a dynamic sector, but their execution, including the accuracy of their disclosures, will be critical to their long-term success. Alright, that's our quick decode of DeFi Development Corp's amended report. What are your thoughts on this correction and what does it tell you about the company? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more insights drawn directly from the source. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.